In this video, I'm going to be reviewing my plate carrier, the Spiritus Systems LV119 Overt, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about how I like to set it up. I've been using this type of equipment for about 18 years now, and if there's one thing I've learned is that there's a lot of value in keeping things minimal and lightweight, at least as much as possible. I've been using the LV119 since about 2019, and I want to give you guys some of my thoughts on it. Now, this video isn't going to be a full-on review of all the features and everything. I'm kind of going to talk to you guys about what I really like about the carrier and what's worked for me, and what I don't like about the carrier, what I think should be changed, and then I'm going to talk to you guys about how I like to set it up. So first off, compared to other plate carriers out there, the LV119 is very lightweight and minimalistic in nature. It is very slim, and the shoulder pads are much more narrow, not necessarily the thickness of the pads themselves, but where they sit on the carrier. There are other carriers out there that the shoulder pads and shoulder straps kind of go out a lot wider towards the edges of your shoulders rather than towards your neck. I personally really like the fit of the LV119. Being a smaller guy, this plate carrier works excellent for me. I also really like the entire suite of Spiritus Systems pouches and accessories. I'm usually able to find exactly what I need through Spiritus Systems, and I like using a lot of their equipment. However, there's some other equipment out there I like to use as well that's not from them, and their carrier is compatible with most other pouches and accessories out there. This carrier really excels in the area of low vis and more of a minimalistic approach. It's not as good for a really heavy loadout, but it's not really designed for that. It's designed to be concealable potentially, but then also carry a minimal level of equipment and be really low profile. Overall, the quality that I've got out of this carrier is excellent. I haven't experienced any wearing of any of the pieces of equipment, fraying or anything like that. Everything is held up really well. It's really well stitched together. It's made in the USA, which is a big part of why I like Spiritus, and a lot of their stuff is very reasonably priced compared to other stuff on the market. They do have some collab stuff that they just have astronomical prices on, but as far as their carriers go, they're actually very well priced, and the pouch is included. So a couple of the things about this carrier that I'm really not a fan of. Number one, the internal dock pouch. As you can see, there's this large pouch on the inside of the front plate bag. I think it was designed to carry large maps that are laminated and things like that. I don't really have a big use for that. I would really like to carry like a notepad and pen, but putting items like that in there is very uncomfortable and kind of difficult to get to if you've got this thing on you properly. Also, when you're running around, if stuff in there isn't laminated, you're probably going to shred it up pretty good. So I personally would have got rid of that pouch altogether. I would take that out and just delete it. And I would run 3D mesh on the entire inside of each of the plate bags and the shoulder straps. That would keep things low profile and add a small layer of comfort and breathability to the inside of the carrier that I think it could use, similar to something like the Faro Concepts Slickster or the Defense Mechanisms MEP-C. Both of those have the 3D mesh on the inside, and they're both very comfortable carriers. The other thing I would change from Spiritus isn't necessarily the carrier itself, but their placard pouches for the front. I personally would run some sort of attachments on the sides that allow you to attach your tubes directly to the placard. That way you can delete the Swift clips. You don't need them, and I think you're going to have a much more secure placard, especially if you're running something like a Mark IV on the front of this, where it's larger and it's loaded out a little bit more. I think having tubes attached directly to that is a huge benefit. There are some companies out there that do make tubes attachments that are straight onto the placard, And I definitely look into one of those if you guys are interested in doing something like that. However, I will also mention that I was able to get my tubes to attach to the chest rig attachment points here. They don't fit perfect, but it does work. So overall, this is a carrier that I really like. I've really enjoyed using. It's not designed for a lot of heavy weight. It is designed for minimal, lightweight, fast, and low profile, and personally I really enjoy the way it fits on me. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and go over my loadout so I can talk to you guys about how I set it up in case you want to do something similar with yours. So first, we'll just talk about the front of the carrier here. Essentially from top to bottom, I first got my phone in a Juggernaut case. I have iTac on here and a couple other mapping programs that don't require cell service for me to be able to use. I've got the entire state mapped out on there. It's also a piece of comms equipment, but it's also a piece of tracking equipment because realistically, if I were in a war situation, I could easily be tracked by having this phone on me. But for everyday stuff, I find it pretty useful going to the range and stuff like that, or even on a more of a small scale thing. I think this is pretty darn useful to have right here in front of me, so I can just pull it out, look at stuff, text people back, whatever it is, record something that I need to record and put it back without having to mess with too many other things that are in the way. So that's what I keep up there, and I've got my patch on this. This is a patch I designed. I only made about 10 or so of these and either gave them away or raffled them off. So I've got my patch on there. Then I've got their 556 elastic placard here. I really like elastic placards because they're very fast and they're also versatile. I don't have to have my mag in here necessarily. I can stick a tourniquet in here if you want to set yours up just slightly different than mine. So you can put different things in here. You can't necessarily do that with other types of attachments out there like the S-Tac Kiwi pouches and stuff like that. You're not going to be able to do that, and you're also not going to get the speed you will out of these with something like a flat pouch. So I really like this. As you can see from the side here, it's got a very low profile, and I like that so that if I want to, I can go prone without having stuff stick out too far. It's very important to have a tourniquet on you. I keep my tourniquet front and center underneath my mags in this little elastic tourniquet holder just right in the center of my carrier there, and I also have a small clip on the bottom that I use to clip on gloves. I could clip on glow sticks, whatever I want to put on there. I could also, if I'm at the range, I could take my ear pro off and clip it onto here. So there's a multitude of uses for it. Usually it's just empty though. The big thing with keeping the tourniquet in the front and center is that you can access it with either hand easily. So if you have tourniquets back here or on this shoulder, it might be really difficult to get one hand over there or reach over to grab a tourniquet in a weird position. So I like to keep that center line of my body right on the front, and the bottom of my flight carrier kind of tucked up on it is the most efficient way for me to personally carry it. Let's go to the left side now. I've got my radio. This is a Motorola XTS 5000. I got this from BSH Comms. I've got a Disco 32 push-to-talk, and I forget where I got this antenna from, but it's a flexible one, and it just goes through my shoulder pad and sticks out the back there a little bit. So that's what I'm running on the side here. This is a really, really good radio. I ran this for a long time as a police officer. They're very durable. Batteries last a long time. So I'm very happy with it. It's super easy to program right through the screen. On my right, this is one of the most difficult things for me to figure out where it needs to go. I have run IFACs in all different locations here, but finally I found a spot that kind of works best for me, and I'll get some close-ups in here for you guys to see. But this is a 556 insert, or a mag insert essentially, for an IFAC, and then I've got my shears on the front. I've got it in a Spiritus Systems wing pouch here, or side pouch. I forget what they call these, but it's their original model. I think it's called the wing pouch, and I've got this red loop on the top, and I don't have it bungeed down. If you want extra security, you could bungee it down, but I like the idea of being able to come in here with either hand, in pulling this out. So I can get it with my left or my right hand as my shears go flying there, and I can access any of this equipment in here, do what I need to do, and retain the equipment too. So when I'm done using it, I can either take this and stick it in a cargo pocket, or I can take this, put it on my clip right here, and retain that, or if my hands allow me to, I can put this back into this pouch. One thing that is kind of unique with my setup is the front placard. I've modified it a little bit. As you guys can tell, I'm running the First Spirit tubes. I really like the tubes personally because I don't have to deal with Velcro and I can get in and out of the carrier very, very quickly. However, my tubes are attached directly to the placard. Because of that, the placard is very, very secure, and there's really no need for swift clips or G-hooks or any of that. So I've actually cut off the swift clips on this, and I don't run any clips in here, so it's a very clean finish to the carrier. I did note that when I was running the swift clips, I would have a hard time getting my thumb behind the magazines in order to draw them. Now I don't really have that issue because there's no swift clips in the way. So I really like this setup, and this is why I really think they should make tube attachments directly to the placards. Now let's go to the back. So traditionally, I don't run back panels on plate carriers. The reason I don't run back panels is because you're dependent on a partner to access that equipment, or you need to remove your carrier in order to access a lot of that equipment. I usually don't run back panels. I've been seeing a lot of people run them, and when Spiritus released theirs, I was really interested to try it out, so I decided to try it out. I never really had run back panels before, and my opinion is the same. If I were doing it over, I probably wouldn't have spent the money on the back panel. I just wanted to try it out. So that's pretty much it for my plate carrier, you guys. I like to keep things fairly simple, lightweight. If you guys have questions, let me know. Stay safe out there, and God bless.